What is up, guys? It's Variant here, and today we're going to be reading and reacting to negative Elden Ring reviews, even though there technically shouldn't be any. Okay, so first one up on the chopping block is Goose. After 500 hours of playing the main game and getting halfway through Shadow of the Erdtree, I play games blah 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 blah, while getting help with the mess for fight, a hacker invaded my world and killed me and put me into a soft lock, which I eventually got out of by teleporting away from the spot I had been stuck in, dying over and over again. I thought this was a one-time event, but after this, every boss was missing. Whoever did this has to be the most evil person on the planet. The game was completely unplayable. Not only was the search for an answer as to what was happening to me a pain in my ass, I also found there was literally nothing you could do about this. When a game can be released with such insane exploits that other players are able to enter your world and completely block you off from progressing in any meaningful way, I cannot recommend that game. If you still want to play, I literally play in offline mode. Generally, a completely shameful feeling from soft end. The games otherwise was amazing. As I said, I had nearly 500 hours on one character. I plan to do more. I'm not gonna lie, this is a true nightmare for me. I can't imagine what this guy is going through. But I'm gonna be honest, this is definitely an original experience. I'm sorry, this has happened. This is the first time I'm ever hearing of this happening. Other hackers in Elden Ring, yes, but I have never experienced anything like this. This is 100% an original experience. If you're seeing this, bro, I apologize. That must have been absolutely gut wrenching. I can't imagine putting in that much time on a character and just having it completely removed from me. I would be just as mad as you are right now. But Elden Ring is still a good game. I'm sorry. Even if that did happen to you, it's still a good game. Okay, so not recommended because of Fire Giant. Fire Giant took me like 5 times. It wasn't that hard. 2 years later, and this game still has stuttering issues. It's still locked at a 6:9 aspect ratio. It still has an awful anti-cheat system. A great game, but hampered by poor support. I did not have any of those issues. It sounds like a PC problem. It's not Garfield Kart. Stop putting stupid negative reviews for absolutely no reason. It's just gonna ruin the game's reputation. Stuttering like crazy no matter what sayings it say. Sorry, but you just have a bad PC. Can't. Okay, that's pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie. This helped me memorize attack powers for my dad's belts. This game itself is great, but don't buy the deluxe edition. The adventure guide artworks won't come in PDF. So why would you put this as a negative review, bro? I'm so confused. Unfortunately, I have to give everyone a big warning before buying the game. The game is not well optimized, at least with PC. It worked perfectly on my PC, and while the frame rate is enclosed and is while the frame rate in enclosed areas is very stable, it will constantly stutter in open areas, which the game will have many since the trailers show you will be able to ride on this big world map, especially when a boss makes a special move. Since Elden Ring is a game where you have to dodge and react to opponents' attacks in under a second, this makes boss fights frustrating beyond belief and honestly kind of unplayable, at least in my eyes. I don't mind having to try a boss over and over because I made a mistake, but constantly dying because the game freezes second, so I couldn't see the type of attack the boss is throwing at me is not the kind of challenge I am looking forward to. I hope that one of the first patches will fix the horrible start problem. I don't even know because I played Elden Ring in 2022 and I never had these problems. I would give a mixed review if I could. Elden Ring has a lot of issues that could be a deal breaker depending on your preferences. I'll list the positives at first and the negatives. The story is quite good, obviously, one of the best stories ever. If you're willing to put in the effort, read all the item descriptions, and carefully listen to all the NPCs, the world itself looks fine depending on how good your PC is. The unique bosses are mostly fun to fight, and the combat is as always in a Soul game. There's a variety of weapons and spells to use, which gives a lot of choice and playstyle. Negatives. The largest issue with Elden Ring is also its main advertised feature, the open world. The open world is too large and is little to do there. I've never heard of anybody call an open world too large. Intriguing. There is plenty to do there, plenty of NPCs, plenty of secrets to find out, and plenty of items to get along the way. There are many open fields with just 3 or 4 crafting materials in it and nothing else that's worthwhile. It is incredibly empty. No, it's not. Furthermore, there's a lot of many copy-pasted structures in open world. Every church, every shack, every ruin is the exact same. Okay, it's the exact same kingdom, so I don't know why you're surprised. The bosses in the open world is usually copy-pasted. You'll acquire the same in multiple areas. Yeah, because they're NPCs. Like, they're NPC bosses. They're meant to be reused. Obviously, at least it's not a unique boss. They're not even really bosses. They're just large NPCs. In the open world, I usually cut blah 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 blah. Sometimes, even a unique major boss is repeated in the same area, and it makes. Name one boss that's like that. The open world also causes many issues with the NPC quest lines, which are hard to keep track of than ever. The use of wiki is pretty much required. Okay, first of all, never use Wikipedia for literally anything. Is so inaccurate. While the world does have a lot of dungeons and caves to find, these have many of their own issues. Anyone familiar with a Chalice dungeon in Bloodborne will immediately recognize that dungeons in Elden Ring are pretty much the same. They're all copy pasted and not just worth the time. Hey, I can't really comment on this comment right here because I haven't played Bloodborne, so I don't know. There are around 4 to 5 unique dungeons, which you will see repeated literally everywhere. It's so boring going through the same dungeons over and over again. Okay, then at this rate, just find a different game because you have very unique tastes. The same enemies can be found in all dungeons as well. Completely not true. Not true at all. Mines will have minor enemies. Catacombs will have skeleton and guardians. There's no variety at all. You just literally name some variety and said there's no variety at all. The boss at the end of the dungeons is copy paste the same boss that can be found in other different dungeons just with health differences. The reward not true, not true, not true, not true. The reward in the end is not worth the time in most cases either. I have never cleared out a dungeon in Elden Ring that didn't have a unique reward. This leads me to my next point, which is the performance of the game is really bad. If you have an older CPU, prepare to run tons of issues caused by the game, not using threads, blah 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 blah. Honestly, if you invest, you can invest on a good like $800 PC and run Elden Ring perfectly. These guys just have skill issues. The online connectivity of Elden Ring is incredibly poor, and I played Dark Souls 2 on release. Okay, okay, I will. Okay, there is a little bit of validity to this comment right here, cause I'm not gonna lie, the online connectivity is really bad. Cause whenever I try to do PvP, it really takes a very very long time, and it makes me very upset. So I'll admit the PvP does leave a little to be desired, but that doesn't make it a bad game at all. I mean, I do like the Dark Souls 2 PvP a lot more than Elden Ring because it's a lot quicker. Anyways, the last thing I want to mention is that the current balance issues with sorceries require intelligence and incantations require faith. Many powerful sorceries can be found from the game onward. Sorceries can easily deal twice as much damage as incantations. Good incantations can be found late, mid-game. Even then, they aren't as good as sorceries. The early to mid-game has around 5 to 6 sorcery-based areas, while solved down the road, but completely sucks. That one build. Okay, I feel like there's a lot more faith based weapons than there are intelligence based weapons. So leveling up your faith can have more like benefits than just using spells. I'm sorry. In conclusion, okay, blah 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 blah. Yeah, not the worst review I've ever seen, but really stupid. Okay, this guy has. I'm not. That looks like a bunch of technical issues, and I'm not about to watch that. A giant grabbed me in game and reached directly into my GPU and crashed it. 10 out of 10 immersion. Funny. Elden Ring more like stuttering. Funny. Oh my god, you're sick. Wait, how old is Millennia? Your anti-cheat system does not allow me, a disabled individual with spinal muscular atrophy type 2 and a limited use of my right arm, my hand able to be able to play on screen. My keyboard to do actions required. So right now I cannot play game because of this issue. It looks really awesome. I mean, That really sounds like a skill issue, respectfully. I mean, I'm not trying to make fun of you or anything, but like that's a really unique skill, really unique problem. I know many will hand wave away any criticisms of this game as salt or reply with get good, but as a fan of FromSoft games since Demon's Souls, this game has felt like the most punitive and fascinating story and interesting characters. The design philosophy of this game especially punishing. To put it mildly, this game feels as if the character has the moveset of Dark Souls 3, with the moveset of Bloodborne foes. Tracking down secular enemies, foes in the game are more punishing than ever with delayed attacks, enhanced tracking, and better AI. While this works, it feels a bit too much in some instances. It feels like every enemy has some blah 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 spin room, area effect explosions, or some mix of both. In addition to these challenging attacks to deal with, enemy attacks are harder to read than ever, with many different combos having the same startup or coming out incredibly fast. While this may be a product of some performance issues with the PC port, some enemies feel as if they are fighting with a lag switch, even if the game is not dropping FPS, is not dropping frames or otherwise function normally. I have a lot of numerous occasions where Torrent, your trusty steed, will suddenly drop dead, seemingly out of nowhere. Instances where enemy health, blah 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 blah. Yeah, I never had any of these problems with Torrent, bro. Like everything I'm reading, they're all just original experiences. Like there's nothing here that I'm generally like reading and I said like, oh my god, except for that one guy who had a point a couple minutes ago. I forgot what it was, but none of these are just screaming, oh my god, this is incredible. This is a real issue that I dealt with. This guy is so right. No, none of this crap is relatable. These facts are compounded by the damage the enemies can do. It is not uncommon to see some field bosses or more challenging opponents doing 900 plus damage in an attack, which is death sentence for numerous characters, especially when these attacks are also fast swinging and usually accompanied by area of effect damage. Simultaneously, the game feels very starved when it comes to ruins. While numerous ruin farming areas have been discovered, it is surprisingly disappointing regarding the difficulty and the number of ruins enemies were dropped. Some of the easiest foes in the game that can easily be stun locked or killed without difficulty will drop over 1,000 ruins. Meanwhile, little giants can on occasion pose a threat, drop similar ruins. Feels bizarre and unrewarding, generally challenging regular foes, drop a few ruins instead of commonly farmed areas. Why are you like analyzing this game to a T and just pointing out like the most meaningful, like the meaningless, like little flaws that people don't even really notice? Like what? You're literally pointing out a needle in a haystack and complaining about it. Speaking of being unrewarding, while this is probably a personal problem, it definitely is. I do not feel accomplished from defeating bosses in the game. Then you definitely do have a personal problem. I remember the hype of being Ornstein and Smo, Gurman, Pontiff, Sullivan, and Ishin the sort of thing. When I power through and defeat a challenging boss in Elden Ring, I feel annoyed. Okay, like what? I promise you, if you don't know how good it feels to be Radon. If you're saying this, you don't know how good it feels to be Radon. Not Promise Console Radon, because I haven't been able to buy the DLC yet, but just base Radon feels so good beating him. It took me like 10 hours my first try. I do not feel the same excitement I did in previous games. I do not feel like I have accomplished something. It just feels frustrating. I am not entirely sure what causes this, but the game does not feel rewarding. Still, I want to continue to play, and I will beat it. Perhaps once that is done, I will update my review and give a final score. However, this has been the least enjoyable of the FromSoft games I have played for now. If you personally enjoy it, that is great and more power to you. Yeah, I still don't like you, I'm sorry. But I have found the game unrewarding, annoying, and far draining than the previous games. Rather than being left with a sense of accomplishment after clearing. Listen, listen. If you are in a burnout you're not able, because this guy's in a burnout. It's so easy to tell. If you're in a burnout and you're not able to enjoy video games, that doesn't mean that the video game is bad. It just means that you're in a burnout. You need to like tell the difference between a bad game and like having a burnout. Update: it's a shame I am not paying Salt and Sanctuary for this review. Has been a lucrative salt mine. Stupidest joke ever, was not funny. It appears that this review has gotten quite a few responses. Welcome. As mentioned before, I will finish the game. Sunk cost facility. I can't even spell that. I paid for it or not, and I am far too deep to refund it now. As of the writing of this update, I am currently a level 90 pure strength build. Okay, you're one of those guys. I abandoned my original level 60 character after feeling like I hit a wall with a two-handed quality build. You abandoned a character? Have you never heard of larval tears? What? People actually abandon their characters in this game? Are you crazy? Whatever. At the moment, this character has hit a bit of a wall with Commander Nile. If this information helps you with your headcanon about me, you're welcome. Okay. Final thoughts. Let's see if this dude has gained a couple more brain cells in his noggin. Now that I've become Elden Lord, you 100% do not deserve that title. I will stand by most of what I have said. Okay, screw you. While there are moments of the game I generally enjoy, bosses like the Fire Giant. You actually enjoyed the Fire Giant fight? I didn't really like it that much. And the Godskin duo are pretty embolic of the game's bosses design and philosophy. Tedious, frustrating, and more core than something can give actual hype. While there are genuinely great bosses, that can get hyped up in good early open world design. I don't know why I'm struggling read this so much. They're like a test of skill and more like a war of attrition, a war that you can lose quickly. However, it is a war I ultimately won, a feat that at the time this being type 8% of players on Steam have achieved. I abandoned my character after over 20 hours of gameplay and managed to beat it with a level 110 after in a little over 34 hours. You're an idiot. It's not even funny. Why would you abandon your character in the first place? They're called larval tears for a reason. If you want to switch your build, you can. Don't delete your character. After some experimenting, there are some good elements in this game. The world is beautiful, obviously. The fashion shows are as great as ever, obviously, and the customization has been taken to the next level. At the time, though, the boss design, in my opinion, some of the worst it has ever been. What? What boss are you talking about? Simultaneously, there has been many reused bosses enemies ever for a FromSoft game. Bro, he is not talking about the NPCs, is he? This has always been the case with FromSoft games, but this goes beyond the Dark Souls 2 pursuer level. Those are reasons why they reuse pursuers, okay? It was a part of the lore. Level of reuse, there is a good in this game moments of hype and excitement. However, it feels especially punishing for certain builds and playstyles at the time. You don't need to get good to beat most of these bosses, and if you ask me if you check in on any guide, the answer seems to be most of the time you simply need to get bleed or get spells. I have never seen that before in my entire life. Update 4, seamless co-op mod. Since I have first played this game until now, Elden Ring has had several significant patches and quite a few changes. Real ones know the pain of a 1.0 Radon. I could definitely solo 1.0 Radon. However, the advent of mods, especially seamless co-op mods, the game is necessarily is substantially more fun. The co-op has been saving grace of many Souls games, not that can concur. While I still think that on its own is probably the weakest entry in FromSoft's lineup. Die, you need to die like right now. The waves of the patches they came in have made the game decisively better, and furthermore, the seamless co-op mod has allowed something genuinely magical to come about. The game is substantially more fun and a lot more wondrous, in my opinion, having a constant computer to play with. Worst take ever. Boo. 0 out of 10. Worst take ever. Oh my god. Yeah, this is crazy. It's like really frustrating when someone literally like analyzes like an entire game and like literally like looks at a needle in a haystack and uses it to judge the game. It's like really, really stupid. This guy just has some really unique taste and it's really dumb. Like straight up. I think that's a good response. But NPC bosses that are found in open world are not bosses, okay? They aren't meant to be unique or difficult. It's really frustrating when free for you complaining about the haystack. Boom. Okay, guys, that's it for this video. If you liked it, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. I really appreciate every comment I get, and I will personally respond to every single comment. I love responding to comments. It's my favorite thing to do. It's my favorite thing to do in my free time. So if you made it this far, thanks a lot.
Fighting God!